So it's March 8th, 2022. James Thomas Green. This is a journal entry and a message for my supporters and patrons. So I continue to sort of recover from my knee injury. I feel like progress is kind of leveled off. It's getting better slowly. I think I'm maybe about 75% through it all. My leg still feels kind of pumped up like a hose full of water. I don't know when I'm going to be able to return to teaching though. The school district seems to think that well, if I'm walking with a cane, I'm not strong enough to be able to go back teaching. I can't go back to the classroom. I can't stand for long periods of time. They're being really mushy about I think the standard just says needs to be able to do the duties. I'd have to look at the actual wording, but it's kind of mushy. And when I say mushy, meaning that doesn't give exact things. They're asking that I get my doctor to tell how much time, like how far can I walk in an hour? And they won't tell me. I've asked several times, what is the correct answer? How long can I stand? How long is enough? Is it 20 minutes? An hour? And for that matter, are you having other teachers take this test? Are we going to take all the teachers and say, okay, here's the track. You have to walk it 4 times nonstop, or you have to go out here and you have to stand for 45 minutes without sitting down. And if you sit down, well, you're just going to have to go on leave or be fired. It just seems very arbitrary. I keep hearing all these stories about how frustrating it is to be a teacher. And it's not the frustration of students. It's mostly administration, unreasonable administrators, parental nonsense that's going on right now. Which book do we burn today? And I'm really beginning to wonder if I should continue. And I've been having I've put out many applications in the last couple of years to try to get hired as a teacher. And a lot of times I don't hear anything. I don't get a rejection. I don't get nothing. And based on today's meeting where they were talking about, my physical abilities before they let me return as a substitute, grade level release, kind of confirms what I've been fearing all this time, that, as soon as they discover, I'm a 400-pound, 62-year-old man, they just rose my application. I mean, they're not going to say, we're not hiring you for that reason. But when I hear classrooms are going empty, where they're having to double up. They have classes. I heard they had to double up classrooms this year. And then I'm saying, I'm available. You don't have to double up. I've got a teaching credential. I can't even get them to give me a straight answer as to whether or not I'm qualified, which is I know I'm qualified. I have a teaching credential. I have nothing in my past that would criminally prohibit me. I've thought all kinds of things about what's going on. 62-year-old, 400-pound man. And it's all been exposed again by my injury, having been out for several months. But the thing is, I can go back. I'm sure I can go back and be at least as good as I was before. So maybe I need, well, I think I need to do other things too. I mean, I need to get my YouTube business up and running. I've been thinking that I have several directions to take the YouTube. One, there's the absolute, just the personal. I think there are enough people that are interested in me and my life that if I just keep posting videos and asking for people to become patrons, I mean, get some entertainment and inspiration out of my life, as well as people just supporting the things I do, you know, political, writing, and so forth. And then more specific things, the political patron, the dogs patron, and the teaching patron, and maybe a few others coming down the line, like a cooking show. You know, whichever one gets the most people saying, "Hey, we want you to do this." And you know, it's also possible that I could make enough money off this that I wouldn't have to teach anymore or substitute teach. Maybe be able to do some travel logs. Of course, if gas goes up to $10 a gallon, that may be a little more difficult to do. But crazy things are going on in the world. So anyway, if you're watching this, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and please become a patron. If you can only give $5 a month, that's great, because I need to get the Patreon going, both because I'm going to provide more content there, but I think that's going to be my long-term solution, because if and when I do return to the teaching, what this incident, especially their reluctance to let me go back to work, tells me that if I get sick, I'm just out. I mean, there's no loyalty, there's no consideration. It's like, well, we're just going to let you go off over here and, you know, go 6 months without pay, because that's just the way things are. Or maybe I can also switch to high school, because when I've subbed in high schools, I see teachers with walkers and canes all the time. So maybe elementary schools are more finicky about that. Now that I think about it, high school, there's no yard duty. So maybe I should get a science, get myself a science credential. I mean, ideally, what I want to do is get the 2-year clear credential and then have that for life. But maybe science is the way to go. Or English. I mean, sadly, many schools don't teach a lot of science. So there may not be as much demand as there would for English, which I could do that too. Maybe both. Why not try both? Be a couple more years of my life. But if the Patreon and the GoFundMe and other things work out, why not? Because it's beginning to look like I fear that the elementary school thing isn't going to work out, because if the hidden secret is nobody's going to hire a 62-year-old 400-pound man, because, well, I mean, today in the meeting I had, the administrator I was talking to just kept going on about how if you're a teacher, you need to be able to walk around the classroom. And yes, I can walk around the classroom, but I'm not walking for 4 hours a day. I mean, that's an absurd number. And if they really are going to insist on that, maybe I should go talk to the union. Maybe I should start approaching legal things like the Americans with Disability Act, because it's an absurd standard that I don't think anybody else is being put to. I mean, I think about it this way: if I'd been a teacher for the last 40 years, would they be forcing me to retire now? Maybe they would. Maybe they'd force me to retire, because somebody says, well, Mr. Green, you're not walking fast enough. You can't get across the campus in 5 minutes. Don't know. I mentioned doing yard duty, and she said, there's no way we'd have you do yard duty right now. So anyway, I'm going to be recording a lot more, posting a lot more on Patreon and my friends, and because the only way I'm going to make this YouTube thing work is to produce content. Sometimes that's just me being pretty and showing off the puppies. Did I wake you up? This is Fenris, and that's my great-great-grandmother, Carolina. Great-great-grandma Green. Okay, that's all.